Assalamualaikum and good morning to everyone. Today is Friday, 15 October 2021. So thank you for your participants today in ROF. So today we meet again here in ROF with our new presenter. And before that, for your info, all of you can join ROF through WebEx or Facebook Live. And also for staff USM, we will send link in the chat box for you to collect your CPD point. And not to waste our time, the presenter today are from music department. She will share her knowledge and experience related with the topic of 10 years of community program. For your info, the community music program, CMP, in USM was established in 2009. Okay, 2009. The core of this program is offering individual lessons to children from the community between the age of 6 to 8 years old. So normally all the kids from our staff join this community program. So a little bit about background, the presenter today, Dr. Yumi Yoshioka. Okay, Dr. Yumi currently is a lecturer in music department, School of the Arts, University Science Malaysia. And Dr. Yumi completed her bachelor's degree and master's degree in Bachelor's of Music in Piano Performance, and also Doctor of Musical Arts in Piano Pedagogy from University of South Carolina, USA. So her expertise for almost 15 years related with music, performance, and pedagogy. So she involved with various community projects related with music and performance in Malaysia, especially community music program, free piano lessons for children. Okay, some of the courses that Dr. Yumi teach in USM, School of the Arts, such as fundamentals of keyboard, applied music in piano, pedagogy and instrumental repertory, and also project music and keyboard. So without further ado, I will pass the floor to Dr. Yumi. Thank you, Dr. Yumi. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Siti Haili. Okay, good morning to everyone, and thank you for attending for this talk. All right, I will make it as short as possible and fun and a relaxing time because still school hasn't started, so I'm sure, but I can see a lot of music students are listening to this talk. Thank you for coming. All right, so let's just go on and talk about this community music program. So let me share my screen. My students will know I'm not good at this, so sometimes they have to help me out. Okay, but should be fine. Okay. All right. So yes, I've been working. Yes, just like the Dr. Siti Saidi introduced about me. I've been working for about 15 years, and I started about in the third year I was working here, and I started this community music program. All right. So just to give you the overall this description of this program is about teaching individual lessons. It's an individual piano lesson, and then children will get 10 free lessons, really absolutely free of charge. And then they will get to perform at the end of the program, and then together with music students. Unfortunately, due to the pandemic, this program has been stopped. But current year 4, yes, the coming this semester, the year 4 students have done it. So I assume that they have been nodding their head behind the camera, kind of stuff. All right, so so then children will perform, and parents will come and then listen to the children's playing. together with music students. So it's kind of like a festival kind of situation that I create. And then we try to make it as grand as possible for not only the children, but music students and the parents. So that it's kind of like a community work. That was the whole point of this purpose. Okay, so move on to the next slide. All right, so the purpose is to create, relationship between the music department and then the children of the community, so that through music, because after all, music is our strength. And using the strengths, we thought of what can I do to engage everybody, and then maybe let the community to come to campus, because often we go out to perform, but how about bringing the people, come into our premises? So that was the whole point of it. So I decided to do this program, and then the children is always um, what do you call it, the center of happiness kind of stuff. So I thought with this engagement of children, I thought it would be a wonderful opportunity for music department to connect with the community. All right, so that was the whole purpose of this program. All right, so exactly how does it work? All right, but then before that, I want to talk about who will have more of the changes has been taken. Okay, but first thing is I thought about the music students. Of course, community is important, but me as a music lecturer in USM, I must think of our music students first. So then, of course, engaging is one thing, but I wanted our music students to have some benefit as well too. So the first thing I thought about is by teaching children, our USM music students will have an experience in teaching. All right. So yes, there are many venues after getting the degree in music, such as you can be an engineer, sound engineer, or you can be an arranger, you can be a performer, and then also you can be a teacher. And then using my degree and then acknowledge to the fullest, I'm a piano pedagogy expert, so I can help them by sharing my expertise. So that what I did was I created that. Okay, why don't I create opportunity for USM students to teach? So at least they never taught in their whole entire life, they will have experience of it. Then so that when they apply for, let's say, intern, in me, a lot of students have to, all the students now have to do the interns. So when they apply for interns, they can at least say something about, if they choose to do teaching, they can at least say that, okay, I have taken this course and I have been offering this teaching program. I've been being a part of the teaching program, so I have some experiences and training. All right, so that's one of the benefit for the USM students. All right, and then at the same time, I have to think of the children as well. Many times, parents want to send children for music classes, but music classes can be very expensive. That's the reality out there. So I thought, why don't I give opportunity for children, at least some experience, exposure, so that they have, if even if they can, parents may not be able to pay for the long time, at least they have a 10 lessons of it. And then I was thinking, I hope that the children will think, oh, one day when they are grown up, they say, when I was a little kid, suddenly I had a one-on-one piano lesson, and then there was a teacher, then that taught me how to play keyboard, and then it was something that I cannot forget. It was a wonderful experience, and at the end of the whole 10 lesson experience, I could even perform. And then maybe my grandparents came, my mother, my father, my sibling came and watched me play. So I wanted to have this kind of memory maybe years later, not only the experience of learning, but of course the memory of creating music. So I thought of this, the whole point of the core of the understanding of this thing. All right. So that's the main portion of it. All right. Then, so how does this run? Yes. All right. So yes. So this one, okay. How do you get the student? Just like Dr. Siti Saili was saying, yes, I have to find children. So what I do is I'm the one, the coordinator, and then and so I will disperse emails to all over the campus about 1 month before the semester starts. So I only offer once a year in the first semester. All right, it's quite a lot of work. So as much as I like to run for 2 semesters due to this limited ability of to the time constraint and such, I could only do one semester. So 1 month before the semester starts, I will send out email all over to the USM staff. All right, and then I don't mind. I mean, mainly I teach children from the staff of USM, but we do have we have some children, the relatives, friends, or neighbors of the USM staff. No problem, because remember, this is to engage community. So if I only limit in within the USM scope, we are not reaching out, you know what I mean? But through the other USM lecturers help, sometimes or often I get the students from outsiders, then I'm very happy to get to know them as well. So I'm the one that's do this person of it. All right, and then um, and then but okay, depends for the music students, ESM music students as a volunteers. All right, it depending on the year batch as well. Our music department is quite small. Each batch is 10 plus. So depending on the number of volunteers, it changes. But having said that, usually have about 20 20 or so in each session. So it's quite enough group dynamic I can receive. All right. So then within of course we need to have agreements with the children. So after that, after I roughly know how many people might be interested, meaning that usually the semester before I will approach music students. They know. They say, would you like to be a volunteer for the teacher, or would you like to teach? Or I mean, sometimes I say, okay, since you are very good in playing, can you be a teacher for the children? Then yes, then they have to say yes, actually, because I approached it personally. But most of most of the time, USM music students are very happy to be part of it. Yes, very happy to do it. All right, and then children from the community will have to come, and of course, the children's parents must have the support from the children's parents, and then of course we need to have the endorsement from them as well. And then what they do is they have to come to school every lesson. All right. Then so basically once a week. Basically once a week. We don't do more than that. All right. And then we also, since it's like a 10 lessons, so one week, the 10 week over 10 weeks. But I give about 12 weeks or so, just to, extra, because sometimes we are not free. We have classes, we have tests, or children get sick, and so on. So I do give more than 10 weeks of span. And but then students will have, the children will have 10 lessons. All right. And then so since the majority of current USM music students primary instrument is piano, So right now, we just focus on teaching piano or keyboard in this program, right? All right, so then activities have been, as I've been mentioning, all right, so 10 lessons is one thing. Then, as I said, emails. Okay, now these emails have all the terms and conditions. I will lay out black and white. So what are the, expectation from the children and parents, and then what are the terms and conditions, like students, the children have to commit themselves for 10 weeks, and then the performance, and then of course it's absolutely free lessons, and they will receive 30 minutes of free lessons. Okay, and then so it's a quite very realistic lesson setup. I make it as much as I can. All right, and then there the age limitation is there. All right, so it's a 6 to 8 years old. Okay, now where did I come from this 6 to 8 years old? All right, I wanted to target the children who could read, all right, and then who could communicate. So I could not just to teach younger ones too young. Okay, then why not older? Because older one will be more fluent. Yes, but the material that I teach is teaching for the older one and teaching for the younger one is a little bit different. So I had to make it about 6, 7, 8, about the same type of learning style and the maturity I put together. All right. So that's what's happening. And then like for the USM student side, not all music students are eligible to take. Okay, I do believe in quality. All right, even if it's free, quality must count, because at the very end of the day, our music students' skill will be actually exposed to the outside too. So I want to make sure that our music students are as professional as the outsiders music teachers. Of course, they are under the training. That's why I'm the one that's supervising them. And then, but that doesn't mean that our USM music students would take for granted for teaching quality. I'll make sure that they will do. So they have to have certain piano skills, right? And then, so that's certain things that I have to make sure that our music student side is is in a way credited as a piano teacher as well, right? And then of course the music students have to agree to teach no matter what. Sometimes it's a challenging, not okay, the children are angels, but then they can be naughty, yes. And also sometimes our coursework, can be very hectic, and then sometimes we are so busy, and then teaching is the last thing we want to do, but still have to do. We commit ourselves. So of course, the music students must commit themselves to give best instruction they can give to children. And then, okay, now this includes to follow my instructions. Okay, for the children, I give an individual interview, all right, in English, because I'm a Japanese, so if I speak English, otherwise I cannot help. And if anything happens, I cannot help them, help the situation. So the lesson has to be in English. So I personally meet one by one the child, and I give an interview in English. Yeah, what kind of interview? It's nothing strict. What's your name? How old are you? Which school do you go to? And then what subject do you like to study? And then that kind of stuff. So then I just want them to make sure that they can respond in English, and then they understand what I'm saying. And then of course, not like unlike Japan, all the children in Malaysia can speak English fine. So most of the time, I don't reject them. No, I've never rejected anyone. In fact, all children will pass English. So it's a very fortunate, in this having this community thing Malaysia, and be able to conduct this program in English. All right. So, so after speaking to children, I do talk to the parents. Okay, those parents are sometimes professors in USM. It can be just a staff in USM. Doesn't matter. I treat them as parents. I don't treat them as, oh, this is the staff or this is the lecturer. No, I just teach so and so's daddy, so and so's mother. You know what I mean? So then they are fine, and then so they understand the situation. I say I need the children's commitment because it's a one semester work of it. And then they being themselves USM staff and lecturers a lot easier. They can understand. So far we never had one drop out. All the children have been committed except one. Suddenly parents have to move to KL. That time I was a little bit panicked, but then I always have backup children. So I managed to have the children all the time too. But anyway, so I do speak to parents and describe our program and tell them what they need to prepare to be in a part of the program. All right, so the core of this program is offering a weekly individual 30 minutes lessons, all right, over a course of 10 weeks or so to the children from the community between the age of 6 and 8 years old. Okay, the music students must, okay, now this is where the toughness come in. I would teach first because many of the music students never taught. So this is how I control the quality. I teach first. I have one child among that just discuss the email. I don't select, I just teach one child who can fit to my schedule, and then I will teach the child. And then all the music students must observe, and then they have to take notes what exactly I teach. And if you have taken this class and the program, I'm sure the students are like, and then it's not easy. I'm very detailed. If the students miss any of my instruction, I will tell them to revise it again. You missed, these are very important instructions, you missed it. And if you miss in this observation, how are you going to teach for your children? I mean, your student. So must do. So every single, I will read every line, and then they must write it down. What did I say? How did I introduce? What material did I use? How long did I spend for this activities and all this? They must write every single lesson. All right, that's one. And then what's happening is then they must come up with their own lesson plan that speak to their the students. Most of because I limit to 6 to 8 years old, maturities are about the same. So my the USM students don't need to do much of a changes, but sometimes depending on the lesson, sometimes children my student couldn't do this activities last week, so I had to put this one in this one. So but then this is how I know which teacher and students are on track, which one is behind, which one is like a quite ahead of it things. So I can really foresee. So actually this is another way of controlling the quality. And then after every lesson, they must write a report. Must write the report. And then again, I will read, because this, if any problem, I tell them to write it down. So I know, okay, this child has this, or he has been sick, she has been sick, or you know, I mean, anything that I know. That's a very important thing. All right. And then at this, and this is not the only thing. My music students must record their teaching 2 out of 10 lessons, and they must observe, and then they watch. Okay, and then these things are already agreed with from the parents, so parents know all this. All right, and then also then they have to go and observe each other, so that they can learn from each other as well. Different teacher or different children have different kind of situation. It's a very it's a wonderful opportunity to learn, so that we can have the peer learning among the music students as well too. So this is how I control the quality, and then so that I assure that maybe the USM, some of the music students may not have experience of teaching, but by doing so, I know the parents know that I am observing what's happening there. So moment the parents call something, then I know exactly what's happening. So their parents are happy with it. I know the situation kind of stuff. All right. And then in order to showcase that accumulation of learning acquired, so the children will present a performance in music department's concert, usually held in the end of the semester, like week 13 or something. I will rent a passiva, music play a space, and then they will play. And then yes, and then I do, as I say, I expect the quality. So what I do is they must play by heart, meaning no music, and they must bow, they must do everything like a concert, yeah, professional concert players for classical music kind of stuff. That's there because that's all I know how I can teach. So, but they, of course, it's their first time playing. They are really, really shy or scared. So, of course, I will make sure that USM students, who is their piano teacher, will guide them and sit together and perform together. So they go through everything, right? And okay, now the lesson that with our weekly lesson, parents can sit if they want to. I never stopped it from that. But having said that, if they bring a younger child, like younger son, younger daughter, and a little bit too destructive, then sometimes I have to ask them, okay, maybe can you observe from outside of the door? You know what I mean? Then they will. But then most of the time, no problem, so that they can sit through, and then parents, meaning that yeah, parents can watch the students or their children's lessons. All right, and of course, in the concert, it's free of charge, so the children, children can invite anyone. I always tell them, bring anyone, everyone you like, as many people as you want. So most of the time, they'll bring, of course, parents, siblings, grandparents, sometimes friends. So it's a quite festive feeling. All right, so this is the end of the program concert to make sure that the students will have this accomplished kind of feeling. I think it's important for the children to feel this performance opportunity, not just in a small room and just take one-on-one lesson. I think it's important for the human to feel the achievement. All right, so no. So then, so far, what are the outputs that's been having? All right. So, okay. So the outputs of this one is lesson of, as I said, lesson observation from the students, and the lesson plan, lesson report, video recording. All these are, yes, being submitted, and then there's a file to it, so that we have this accumulation of activities has been done in the past. All right, and then yes, some of the recordings are there, so that of course is there as well. And then this observation, and then sometimes through this observation or report and such, sometimes our USM students will come and ask about something, or I couldn't teach well this portion, or I have problem with communicating and so on, that I will guide them. Because in reality, once they graduated from USM and start working, yes, dealing with parents are very important. So not only that they can perform or they can teach, but also the soft skill, to the with the parents are also important. So I will guide them. So that's but I will not go to and talk to the parents if unless it's really I have to. But so far I've never had parents and then like USM students are able to communicate well, and then they are being solving that. And sometimes it's usually the problem they have is scheduling. All right, because because it's a during semester, and I tell that the lesson has to be conducted during office hours. That means weekdays between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Yes, and of course, music students have classes to attend. So it's like, and then the children go to school as well too. And parents are working as well. So it's like a miracle. Actually, I'm the one who coordinate the timing. So the parents have to give me this list of free time that's free for the parents to drop and free for the child to attend. And then my music students must give me their schedule free time. And then the venue, which is we always teach in a school of arts music department, the music studio. So I have to find the available time of the place as well. It's like a miracle, but I have to match it one by one, one by one. So when more students I have, it's a happy thing to do, but at the same time, this the schedule coordination can be quite challenging. But so far, I managed to find time and then the children's parents schedule and then the instructors parents and do it together. It's challenging, but it's good. Great thing about it is that because they work in USM, sometimes they can, it's okay, I can keep my child at my office, and then when the time comes, I will drop the child kind of stuff. Or music students are willing to sacrifice their lunch time and they teach sometimes. Yes. So all this, I mean, I suppose it's a give and take. So the community is helping each other for the learning experience. So while the USM students are gaining the experience, children are learning the music kind of stuff. All right, so over the 10 years, about 50 instructors I have been getting, meaning that yes, 50 USM music students have been helping. And then sometimes when I do not have enough volunteers, sometimes I have to ask the alumni, I say, can you come and teach? They don't mind. Say, oh, sure, I can. So they don't mind. You say, okay, fine, because it's like giving back to the community. I think using because they are teachers. Those teachers are working as piano teachers right now, and that's how they make a living. But they said they don't mind just teaching one child and then to giving back to the community. So I think not only that they have gained the experience of learning, but I think this giving up the community experience is also fulfilling themselves as a person. You know what I mean? So I think I'm quite happy with it. All right. And then, of course, 50 instructors, about 100 children. I have been produced. And then interesting is like I taught sometimes one family will bring one by one. So like and then, I have 3 children, and then okay, they started with the eldest daughter, and then the second son, and the youngest child. You know, means the 3 generations will come, kind of stuff. So that's what's happening. All right. So I think it's and then after doing this, um, I get a lot of calls from them too. All right, but then okay, the only thing that I forgot to tell you one thing about this. That learning. Okay, we do have a facility and we do have a piano or full size digital piano, whichever depending on the schedule and available studio, I do allocate it. Okay, now but parent side, yes, it's a free instruction, but they have to they have to pay something. All right, what is it, right? Okay, they must buy books. The children must buy books, and these are originals, and there it's English one, and I usually it's expensive one from you. I usually ask for US product, US, so the American books. So then 3 books, so it costs about now, okay, because of the exchange rate and the prices are going up, so about 80 to 90 ringgit for 3 books. Do we finish all the 3 books? No, we only do like a beginning of it because it's only 10-week lessons. But parents are happy. They are willing to pay. I've never had problem. But of course, I wrote in the first email when I announced it the free lesson. But free lesson means just a lesson is free. So the parents must purchase the books. And then also keyboard or piano or something they must have. Okay, if they cannot purchase, it's okay. If you can borrow the keyboard from the relatives or neighbors, no problem. All right, but if they have a piano, old one, new one, doesn't matter, then you can use it too. Some parents purposely buy the keyboard, you know what I mean? Then they will ask me to suggest, but then, unfortunately I don't really know all these the things, so I usually have to ask somebody else, and then that ask people who know about this purchasing. Then I will just okay, why don't you call, or I call the previous parents, where did you buy, and then they'll tell me. They I just recommend, oh, my spare last batch the parents bought from that shop, so maybe you can try that from there, or then they can do, and it's quite interesting. It's yes, that's the one thing about that, and they have to pay. But then if you have, yeah, the parents say, it's okay, I'm planning to have all the children to learn this program, so if I buy one, two more children can learn, kind of stuff. So yes, yes, so that's the one thing about it. All right, so the effects of this program. So obviously, the networking with the community is definitely there. All right, so I have known a lot of people. So because being a lecturer, I tend to not only the lectures, but I have people from different kind of staff from different schools as well too. So and then so it's wonderful to get to know a lot of people on campus. And then okay, next one, increase music department visibility. Okay, now yes, USM, University Science Malaysia, people think that they only the USM has only science, and then they say, oh, we didn't know we have school of arts, oh, we there's a music department, kind of stuff, you know what I mean? With this program, every single year I send out the email, so a lot of staff are aware of it. So they know there's such thing as called music department now. So that's a wonderful thing. Of course, but you must not forget the convocation is another visibility for music department. Yes, and then the Associate Professor Mr. Razif has been conducting this for the convocation together with the Checkmate the Gamelan. So that's another opportunity for music department to come from. But then unfortunately, those are people graduating. So, but anyway, so yes, the visibility of music departments are definitely there. All right. And then of course, I sometimes parents know each other. Oh, I know this person can. So they start talking. Oh, how are you? So I can see, especially in the concert, the parents are talking. Oh, I know this person. I know that person. So now parents get to know each other again, kind of stuff. So it's a good thing about it. All right, and then of course this sustainable education. I think the children continue to learn music upon completion of the program. All right, some children will stop. Not everybody, okay, reality, not everybody meant to study music. Yes, all right. I'm not good at drawing. I'm just not good at drawing. So I know I cannot draw. So, yes, but then until you try, you never know whether you're good at it or not. And then if you're not good at it, to me, it's totally fine. Did they have a wonderful time with the teacher? Then do they have a good memory with the teacher? Then it serves a purpose, right? But some parents will say, oh, my son or my daughter would like to continue. What do I have to do? We don't have the continuation of program right now because if we cannot, yeah, realistically, our music students cannot keep giving the free lessons to, they have to study. Um, so we tell them that okay, you have to go outside. But then I can just refer some, but they usually I tell them that okay, go to any music center that you can approach, and then they will usually finally they appreciate us even more after they know the how much the fee is for the lessons, you know what I mean? And then in out there music center, maybe they can give one lesson. No, they can give one lesson for free, but definitely not 10 lessons. No way, no way. Maybe maximum two free lessons, but that's it. It stops right there. So after that, some parents will come and ask me, we really appreciate your 10 lessons because I didn't know it's very expensive. I said, yes, it's expensive. So, but then I'm glad. And then some children are continuing, and then sometimes they come for other events that I organize for music from the as a music department, and then I see them, and then they wave at me, kind of like, oh, you're still taking lesson. I say yes. And then yeah, so but then is some of the children are already, it's been 10 years, some of the children are already in, I think the first batch is working. Some some are working, I know, because first batch was one of the music school of art staff. Son was there, so I know he's already working. So yes, but then he decided he did a little bit of music, but not the piano lesson, but in playing guitars and all this. But I like that sustainable education definitely is there. All right, and then of course that this program gives our USM students to have a teaching portfolio, all right? Because as many of us know, if you started working, getting the first job can be very tough if you don't have any experience. So if you have this, at least, okay, if I wanted to be a performer, especially in pandemic, I want to be a musician and perform, not a chance at this moment, then okay, no choice, but I have to teach. Then at least you have this, you can write it down. I have this experience, I have been guided, and then this program is that it does exist. So then you can write it down. So the teacher, I mean, that you can say that I do have experience. So I think then many USM students have been appreciating me. The one that's working right now, they've been appreciate me a lot after they start working. That time they complain, oh my gosh, why do I have to do this? So much work, this. I know. I said, but just hang in there. You will appreciate me later. But it cannot be now. You have to graduate. You have to start working. Then that time you will feel it. Just wait, okay? Just wait there. Hang in there. Then yes, then later on, yes, I said, thank God I took that class kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Because I have some students, of course, not all students don't want to be a volunteer for whatever the reasons, fine. And then they decided to be a teacher, and then the 30 minutes lesson had to give. You know what happened? 10 minutes. The student could only 10 minutes. Then you know what? They come up and they ask for help from the experienced teacher. I don't know what to do. Then this experienced teacher was like, what? Where is the children? Children are inside. And what about the parents? Parents are also inside. Then why are you here? I don't know what to do. Then so that this experienced teacher has to go in and continue teaching the child. So this is where the positive feedbacks from music centers are there. Okay, but of course I've been teaching, giving this class for the program for 10 years. So of course out there, the teachers, the music students with this experience, without this experience, some centers are obviously they are hiring, all right? And they could see the difference between being trained with this program and between zero training from this program. And then I do have calls from the music center. Even during the pandemic, I get calls that, do you have any teachers that you recommend? I preferably the one went through this teaching the community program, because I realized we've been hiring both the being a volunteer and non-volunteers, and then we can see the difference in this new coming in. We prefer to have the one that has been gone through this program, so that they have some ideas. Of course, this is only 10 lessons. You will not learn everything, but at least they know the protocols of it. You know what I mean? If they cannot remember, I make them write everything on the paper so they can refer to it. You know what I mean? So uh, so they have something to look after they graduated. So I do get calls, and then so I think that is the positive feedback from music centers that's definitely there. All right. So so I think that's the conclusion of my thing. And then yes, well, whole okay. Last year I couldn't do, and then yes, and then this year I don't think so. Then the reason I did think of online. I did think of online, but I realized a little bit difficult. Meaning, okay, I need to train the teacher. A little bit difficult to train the teacher online and then train them to teach online. You know what I mean? Because the child is no experience teacher has no experience, and then it's a little bit but so yeah, I did try. I experimented with two children so far. I've never seen the child, but I only see them from the screen. I did teach. It's a different things, and then we need a lot of parental guidance during the lessons too. So so far I have not. So far I've never tried this teaching in with online, but maybe if I can think of something else, I'll try. But then hopefully pandemic will stop, and then I can go definitely as soon as the all the bars will be lifted, then I will definitely start back this one, because I do get even now I do get calls or talk. Hey, when are you opening? I want my child to have this program. I do get yes, requests from the parents, so I will do it definitely. All right, so I think that's all for that's all for it. So this is the community music program diagram. So the it starts from the context, where is the climate. So this is where it starts first. So okay, so that what kind of change I wanted to make. So I wanted to change community engagement I wanted to have. All right. So that was the beginning of it. And then I included in a lecture, and I'm the one helping, of course, but without USM Music students volunteer, just cannot run this program. No way, I cannot do it. If I teach, it's only one child. With the music students volunteer, years of it, until they graduate, they will help me out. So this is a very important portion of that. All right. And then activities are the lessons that they do, and then of course the performance. And then of course this performance, of course, my colleague from music departments are always there to watch the children's performance, and then they always help me out to make the concerts very exciting. Without the help of my colleagues, I wouldn't be able to do this output of the last portion of performance. All right. So then, okay, then the outputs will be the students have to yes, my students have my students with music students have the experience of it. And then over the 50 instructors, I produced it, and about 100 over 100 children have gone through this program. And then the effects, I just described it, the increase of visibility of the departments, and then of course the networking between the music department and community is there. Our music students have portfolios, and then the feedback from the music centers are quite high. I mean, positive. So I think that's win-win situation. Because of this, then I want to continue doing it, and then other parents will recommend my program to the parents will recommend other parents. Hey, send your child there. It's a good program. It's a good program. So then that's why I never run out of children. Always have more than I could handle. Sometimes I had to reject, not because I can that the children is not good, don't have enough manpower. So okay, so that's all for today. All right, and then if you have any question, you can ask me. Hopefully I can answer any question you have.
Thank you,
Ah,
Dr. Yumi,
you're
for
welcome.
your very nice presentation. And maybe we can close the slide presentation first. So for those who have any question to Dr. Yumi related with this topic, the community program, okay, the class piano by the kids. So maybe you want to ask what is the requirement for children to participate. Maybe later you want to bring your children, your kids. So please on your microphone and ask directly to Dr. Yumi, or maybe you can write down your question in the chat box in the WebEx. So maybe Dr. Yumi can directly answer the question. And Dr. Yumi, if we look at the chat box now, Govinjit Singh, our students, so already sent you the question.
Okay.
Doctor, how doctor handle 6 to 8 years old children, because sometimes it is hard to bring their focus. So how you attract their focus to learn the music?
Okay. Okay, first thing is, okay, the content has to be interesting enough to keep their focus. I'm sure it doesn't have to be music, it's any content. Okay, so and then of course, because it's a children, of course, it has to be more hands-on activities. All right, because when we think of concert, like, I mean, you just sit there and watch, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, but then in the lessons we have to be just not play, we talk. We'll have the flashcards. We make sure make sure that the material, teaching materials, is attractive. The tune of it is very important. All right, and then it has to be constantly engage the children to do something. So that's why moment you start hesitate, oh, what do I teach next? That's why my students have all my music students must have a lesson plan next to it. Then so that because they know, I'm sure that some students might be will be naughty. Moment they look, actually, but I told them to have a lesson plan, but moment they start looking at it, they the children start playing. So yes, it's right. So you have, that's why I tell them, my students, okay, after observing my teaching, you plan a lesson. Then hopefully you memorize what you have to do roughly. And then I said, you have to be expert. You teach one thing, and then with the other eye, you have to look at the lesson plan so that it goes. But yes, if the 30 minutes lesson is very difficult for the young children to focus. Then also another thing is, because of that, I do one-on-one as well. One child, one instructor, so that the instructor will give all the attention to the one child. But yes, it can be very difficult. Some children were just active, and then sometimes the USM students are half crying kind of thing. My students just want to sit still, but sometimes my child said doesn't want to play today because he doesn't feel like to do how. I said, but then you had to engage them, talk to the students, and then what happened today, what's wrong with it, and they say okay, then try to encourage them. Oh, okay, but you know, it's such a small thing for us, but then for the child, it's a big deal. You know what I mean? So I say, oh, okay, then, all right, then do that. Let me just consult them. You know what I mean? Then they will be like, oh, okay, then, okay, let's have a lesson then. Then you do that. You know what I mean? So sometimes the content, all the content that you prepare may not be able to teach. That's fine. Then just connect with them first. But then connecting with them is important. And yes, sometimes a challenge. You're right.
Yeah. So they have a question number 2 from Shirin Lim. Doctor, may I please know what kind of performance is expected at the end of the lessons?
Okay, that's a good question. All right, so they have the book. So what do I tell them that they have to pick a piece from the book. Cannot pick from something else. They have to pick from the piece from that book, and then they will get to play two pieces. And I usually tell the instructor that, okay, let the child pick one song that they've learned in 10 weeks. But in 10 weeks, not that many choices. But then, you know what I mean? But for them, it's wow, I get to pick one because they have 3 books. So it's, even though it's 10 weeks, still have a lot. You know what I mean? So they learn about 2 to 3 pieces per week. So if it's 10 weeks, then about they have about let's say two, then they have about 20 songs to pick from. So they will pick one, and then but it's only like just about 10 seconds or so, very short. All right. Shh, don't tell, okay? But they, for them, it's a big deal. 10 seconds. So therefore, I let them play two pieces. So the second one, usually I tell the instructor to pick one so that it has a good contrast. And one lively music, one is a little bit more sad tune or something, just to have a varieties. But usually the books come with a tune that they know, like a Mary Had a Little Lamb, and then I think that Old MacDonald Had a Farm, all these tunes that they've listened to it. So it tends to have the same tunes, but we don't mind if sometimes we listen to the same tunes for about 10 times out of 13 students. It happened one time too. Every single student wanted to have Mary Had a Little Lamb. We listen 10 times. It's okay, we listen. We listen, but yes, and then so the students will have to perform from the book, and then they must bow, they must play from memory, no book, and then they must dress up like the concert dress. I mean, they must do all this being briefed. So then but then of course that I will tell the parents, but to the children, will tell them, I want you to make if it's a girl, I want you to look like a princess and come and perform. Then she's like, okay. Then we talk about what color dress do you have? Then that girl will be, I have pink one, I have blue one. They'll talk about it. Then I wanted to make the performance opportunity as a positive thing, not scary. Sometimes people get nervous, so I'll make it such a way. So yes, the performance will be as best they can present. Yes.
So any question from the participants? You may to unmute your microphone if you have any question. So before we with any question, send in a chat box. So 10 years of community program to teach the piano class. Definitely many sweets and bitter experience. What is the most memorable challenge in running this community program?
The challenge?
Yeah,
Okay.
that you
Challenge.
cannot forget.
Challenge.
Must have at least one or two, the very most experience
Okay,
that you
okay, okay.
can't
The one
forget.
is okay, because it's a 10-year, 10-week lesson. Yeah, and then of course, for music students side is excited to. For okay, some of them have been taught some of them never taught. So they, if they never taught, it's gonna be their excited moment. Scary, but at the same they're excited. And then yes, I have one. As I said, one child had to. The parents decided to just shift the KL after 3 lessons or so. I think they knew about it, but they may not go to KL. I mean, so but then so they didn't think of my USM students feeling. You know what I mean? So I said, oh, we have to go to KL, so we're gonna drop. I was kind of shocked. I said, oh my goodness, these students need the experience, and they have been studying hard. They've been preparing themselves, and then get at the same time our music students themselves get excited as well too. So then I did have a backup, but then the backup, the child, I wasn't sure whether the child is the schedule matches with this teacher and all this kind of stuff. So yes, that was I had once, but that was quite scary. That time I make sure that whether I could find another child for music students to get an experience as well too. So that time I was quite upset about it. If students nobody, yes, I was quite upset. Like this is not right kind of stuff. You know what I mean? You agree to it, then you just drop and leave. You know what I mean? So, but yes, that was a challenging time. But other than that, everything was quite smooth so far. Yes.
Okay, we have a question, another question. The third question, I think from Limi Yen Zhang. Doctor, how do you keep the attraction of kids in the class? Since most children nowadays are obsessed with gaming and watching YouTube videos, most of them will look tired other than this. Yeah,
Oh,
listen, must have a trick.
okay. Now this one, I think I have to. Okay, this one I do. Okay, I have to admit, this is not based on my experience, but based on our graduate from USM, this program. And then I think and then they said that the experience of it, they said actually I've never had this kind of problem much. For some reasons so far, so okay, because I said that most of the students are USM staff. For some reason, USM staff children don't have this problem. I feel that way. I mean, I think maybe just so far. Okay, sometimes I know when they waiting for lessons, and I think they couldn't wait for long, so mother they grab the phone and mother's phone and play again. And then when they come for the lesson, they're like yes. But most of the time, so far, for some reason, our USM students, I mean the children, um didn't have this issue much. Maybe because I don't know. It is, but then I did hear that all these the graduated teachers said that USM students or parents are very polite, and then very active, and then appreciative about it. So I actually the children from this community music program are actually a special, very nice one. I did hear it. So actually, this question So far, maybe next batch I might have it, but then so far over the 10 years, I haven't heard this one. The children are upset with the game that they don't wanna they don't wanna engage piano lesson kind of stuff. So I really thank the parents of this program, the children's parents, all this while for the understanding and the guidance of it. Yes.
Yeah, of course, because we must patient, keep calm, okay, during this
Mm, yes.
program, right? So that the kids will follow your attitude and they will come and not go here and there, play with the friends.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any question, Jit, in the Facebook? If yes,
Okay.
maybe you can copy paste in the um, none. Okay. Um, for the last question for those parents are interested to send their children to join this community program, what is the requirement for children to participate? Maybe you have any rules or
Okay.
maybe requirement?
All
Yeah.
right. But okay, first thing is that yeah, that age is limited, unfortunately. Okay, so that has to be in that 6, 7, or 8 is one thing, and second has to be able to speak English.
Mm-hmm.
English, but it doesn't. I mean, students are a little bit confused, but it's okay. Sometimes they're not so fluent. It's okay as they take lessons. Usually, they pick up things very fast. Children learns very fast, and then it's very limited the languages that we use, right hand, left hand, kind of stuff. So it's okay. So the English can I must understand English and can write their names and in the alphabet and so on. All right. Then second, must purchase the textbooks. The three textbooks comes with 3 books, and then as I said earlier, it's about 80 to 90 ringgit for 3 books, depending on the rating of the exchange. But then you always order it from local music shop and try to get as much discount as possible. But then still about it. But then for music, just remember it's 3 books. I always tell them like that. Then so that it's not too bad. But then unfortunately we cannot use all. We cannot finish the book because it's only 10 lessons. Usually it takes about 6 months. Quite quick students will finish in 6 months. Average students will finish in about 10 months to 1 year. So unfortunately, it's only 10 lessons or 2 months plus, so we wouldn't be able to finish. But these books are usually commonly used in so far I know in Malaysia. So even they go to another teacher. Usually this book should be widely accepted in any situation. So children shouldn't have problem using it. And then lastly, they must have an instrument, right? The instrument, of course, best is to have a full size keyboard. It doesn't have the piano, but full size, like same. It's plugged, but then it comes with as many same keys as a piano will be best. But if not, there may be 66 keys. But some children have a portable one, that's a very very limited one. It's okay as long as they have something that they can practice at home, because just like I said, quality is important. So I expect my USM student to give the best, but I do expect from children to do their best too. But as I said, fortunately, this USM staff and what I mean, are very supportive about it, and they're very hardworking parents too. So usually, they'll prepare everything, and children behave. Children will be well prepared. Sometimes on off, of course, parents are busy too, so on off. But then most of the time, children are come on time, and then yes, prepared and everything. So there's 3 items: English, and then but you have to purchase the materials, and it must have instruments. So 3 major things. Yes.
Okay, the question from Yatang Leong. Doctor,
Okay.
after piano class, many students doesn't play the piano at home until they come back in next class and do not play well the last class content. How do you communicate with students?
Okay. Last content. Okay. This is the downside of this program is I demonstrate, right? So actually, my child, everybody must follow my children's learning tempo. So that sometimes, yes, I do have students, like some children did not practice, then I had somehow they just have to catch up, the one that's behind one. But then again, so far okay, somehow they'll make it. And then I will tell and then I will tell the parents, I want your son to do that's why performance is important. Performance is coming up, all the children and parents are coming, so I want my students to do well. I tell my USM students to tell the parents, and I want my child to, I mean, your child to do well in front of people. So you want, can you encourage them to practice? And I mean, all the parents will say yes, because who wants their child to play like in front of people when other children are playing well too? So actually, that's how I've actually and this can be the motivation. You know what I mean? External motivation that presentation has to, the performance is there. So that's how I motivate them students, and then they will start practicing again. Yes, children do have ups and downs. You're right. Okay.
Okay, so after complete the class, the program, did these participants kids receive their certificates or not?
So far, we don't we
Oh,
don't do certificate. No, no, I've never
okay.
done a certificate for this one.
Okay. So for the last question before, I think they have no question. For the
Okay.
last question, and maybe you can wrap what is the our topic today, and you want to promote your community program also can.
Yeah.
So the last
Okay.
what's the
Okay. Well,
uh, yeah.
I really no. The thing is, I really appreciate all these USM volunteers, music volunteers. It's really, really tough. I'm telling, I always tell them, okay, I need you to volunteer, you know what I mean, this thing, but it's tough. You talk to the seniors, whoever done it, it's tough, but I need you to help me my program running. And then they say yes. Of course, I sometimes I pressure them, but I really appreciate. But only the first trial, then the time, but they second and third time, they just, I let them, I trust them, because I really, really monitor them, really monitor them. So I know one training is enough for them to run their own. So the second and third one, they don't have to do much. They just sit and watch what's happening, kind of stuff. So I really appreciate my all these volunteers from music students. That's the first thing. And then of course the parents that's helping this, supporting this program, because of course the children have to be part of it, but at the very end of the day, parents have to come every week to send the child, and then the parents are the one have to monitor and make sure they'll practice. And then they do have some written homework. They do the written homework, and all this has to do for 10 days. And I did have
You unmute the microphone. You mute the microphone. Okay.
okay. Sorry, my Bluetooth went off. Okay, so I do have parents from Canada, and they send the child from Canada every Friday. The commitment was great. So all this
Wow.
happening, so I do have a appreciation from all these parents that's sending, so that my USM students will not have that headache in the lessons too. So those are the things. All right. So if I no if when not if when I run the community music program again, hopefully the new batch will do it. And then the only reward, okay, now the reward for music students will be when you watch your students playing on the stage. You will feel
Mhm.
good. Think not necessarily for any teacher. It doesn't matter with teach music or arts or dance, theater, whatever it is. When the students are presenting, you as a teacher will feel good about it. So that's the reward. And then that reward is available when the students get to the final goal, which is the presentation. So that they maybe artwork, dance, anything. And then this is a teacher's reward. So do you get the tangible something? Do you get the, I mean, as I took this class as a volunteer. Can I help? So, no, you don't get it. I always tell them, I don't give you all this kind of tangible. I give you the experience and feeling of it, that you have it, and you keep that one, so that every time you watch your students presenting whatever you taught and doing well, that's that yes reward I will give.
We
Nothing
have
else.
very last
Yes.
question from Fairuz Zamani. On average, how many young students you have each session? How many
Um,
percent did they continue come to their music lesson after the program?
okay, so 10, I do have about, that's like, depending on the batch of the music students. So I usually have as little as 2 from the batch. So, but then sometimes I get about 5. So constantly about 10, around 10, 10 to 20, but usually around 10 plus. 10 plus is the one, about 10 plus, 10 to 15, I would say. How many percent they continue their music lesson after the very, but okay, realistically, very little. 1 or 2, the most. 1 or 2, the most. That's a realistically. Most of the time, parents said no time because, as I said, most of the parents are USM parents, so they work full time. You know, I mean, here's how many USM staff are here too. I can tell, and yes, they are full time. So sometimes they just don't have time to drive out and drop the child. So that's, they say they usually have that issue. And of course, some financial commitment is there as well, or child is just I think not interested, or sometimes they continue but it's different outside of the environment sometimes. So sometimes is the change of the environment can be affect the child to drop out, but the continuation of it, not that much. The realistically 1 or 2, then a lot of parents will ask me to offer the continuation program. I just don't have the manpower to do it. I used to have, then just a lot of things happen, so I decided not to do it because I don't want to continue and discontinue, continue, discontinue. If I continue means I'll do it. If cannot, then I mean I don't want to continue. So and a lot of paperwork I had to do. So that's that one done.
Okay,
Not
so
really.
I think that's all from now for the RF today. And thank you very much to Dr. Yumi Yoshioka for your very interesting presentation, sharing all the experience during these 10 years. Is quite a long journey. So thank you also to all the participants, for student and staff. We already sent the link in the chat box for you to fill out and submit to us. And hopefully that we can meet again in ROF next month with our another presenter. So thank you very much, and Dr. Yumi, and to all of you. Until we meet again next week and next month. So Assalamualaikum. Bye.
Thank you very much. Okay, bye bye.
Bye.